Okay, so this is an off-the-cuff video about why I believe the American Communist Party will fail. So recently, about, I would say, a little over a week ago, Jackson Hinkle, Haas Aldine, Midwestern Marx, and a lot of these other Marxist, communist YouTubers, internet personalities, with Jackson Hinkle probably being the largest, they all launched the American Communist Party. And they've had mixed reactions. Of course, they're opposed by the establishment, the left-wing establishment. Right-wingers, they just have their general reaction of, oh, communism is stupid. I reserve my thoughts on communism from this video. I'm just talking about why I think the party is going to fail. I think the party is going to fail because at this point in America and world history, there is such a monopoly on information, and neoliberalism has such a monopoly on what the truth is. And humans, we are so dependent on the neoliberal system, on capitalism, and it's I simply don't see how this is going to work. Especially back during the time of communism, it was during the Great Depression, and it was the people who are waging communist revolutions were peasants. These were peasant uprisings. There's a reason why communism kicked off in Russia and not in America. These were peasant uprisings. And a lot of these guys who are pushing communism, they're not from the working class. I'm not from the working class. I'm from the real working class. These people say they're working class. I'm from the real working class. I was born in poverty. I worked my entire life. These guys I came from a large family, and all my siblings worked. These guys do not know what they're talking about. The people who they say they represent, they do not represent who they say they represent. These are guys from middle class, upper middle class backgrounds. Haas says he's from a background that's very privileged. I simply don't believe they're going to succeed. The problem with the American Communist Party is the problem with the middle class in general. The middle class is they live almost in this bubble. They are completely dissociated from the realities, the harsh realities of life. And this is why they're so idealistic and ideological. They are so protected from the harsh realities of life. For them, communism is this abstraction, this idea they want to impose on the reality. You look around them. You look at these people. You can tell they do not do heavy lifting. They didn't do construction or manufacturing or engineering. They're academics and intellectuals. Everything for them is theoretical. It's all in your head. It's all mystical. It's theoretical. It's nothing tangible that you can hold in your hand. They're not welders or anything like that. I simply do not see how they are going to succeed. I could be wrong, but I'm probably right. They do not represent who they say they represent. They are bourgeois, as they say. They are the bourgeoisie. They are not the working class. And when I see them, it's they're so obsessed with theory. It's really strange. I'm not saying they're obsessed with theory how neoliberals are obsessed with theory. When neoliberals talk about transgenderism and they ponder about the nature of reality and all this stuff, these guys are materialists, but they're so hung up on theory. They don't focus on, they have no connection with the actual flesh and blood human beings they espouse to represent. I simply don't think it's going to work. I could be wrong. I see a lot of them meeting with like communists around the world and stuff. Jackson Hinkle, he visited China. He speaks the Chinese. He talked about how great the Chinese system is. The Chinese system really is great, but you have to remember, China was a peasant society. It was an empire with a large peasant. It's like in Mao, he appealed so much to the peasants, like he did not associate for. Mao could, and Xi as well, they could identify the peasants. They came from very poor backgrounds. I do not see how they're going to be able to appeal to the working class in the way they want to. They're already alienated from the mainstream Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party is a corporate party, and alienated from Republicans. I do not see how it's going to work. I think they have they have their hearts in the right place, but I simply don't think it's going to work. I think communism at this point, unless something drastically changes, communism is essentially a dead ideology. It's a dead ideology.